Have you ever wondered if the events unfolding in our world today were foreseen thousands of years ago? In the ancient texts of the Bible, there are passages that some believe predict the future, foreseeing events that are happening in our world right now. These are called biblical prophecies, and they've been a topic of intrigue and study for centuries. A significant part of these prophecies speak about an era known as the end times. They paint a picture of a world rife with global conflicts, increasing natural disasters, and crucial events transpiring in the Middle East. They tell tales of nations rising against each other, of the earth shaking, and of momentous happenings in lands that are now modern-day Iran and its neighbors. These prophecies, penned thousands of years ago, seem to echo with an eerie familiarity in our current times. Now let's delve into some of these prophecies and see how they might be manifesting in our world today. One of the most talked about regions in biblical prophecies is the Middle East, specifically Iran. Now, Iran wasn't always known by that name. In ancient times, it was called Persia. This detail is crucial because it helps us understand several biblical prophecies. Let's take a journey through the pages of the books of Daniel and Revelation, two of the most prophetic books in the Bible. In the book of Daniel, we come across a prophecy in the 11th chapter that talks about a great northern king who wages war against the southern king. Scholars have interpreted this northern king as a reference to Persia, today's Iran. Now flip over to the book of Revelation and you'll find another intriguing prophecy. In the 9th chapter, it mentions an army of 200 million soldiers crossing the Euphrates River to wage a devastating war. Some interpreters believe this army could be associated with the nations of the East, potentially including Iran. These prophecies, filled with vivid imagery and symbolism, seem to suggest that Iran, or ancient Persia, plays a significant role in the events leading up to the end times. It's depicted as a nation involved in major conflicts and wars, shaping the course of human history. But remember, prophecies are complex and multi-layered. They're not always straightforward to interpret. They often speak in metaphors and symbols, requiring careful study and interpretation. So, while these prophecies mention wars and conflicts involving Persia, we must be careful not to jump to immediate conclusions. It's also essential to remember that these prophecies were written thousands of years ago. The world has changed significantly since then, so we must consider these ancient texts in the context of our modern world. With these prophecies in mind, let's explore recent events in Iran and the Middle East. This will help us understand if and how these ancient predictions might be unfolding before our eyes. Remember, we're not trying to predict the future, but to gain a better understanding of the world through the lens of these ancient prophecies. In recent years, Iran and the Middle East have been at the center of global attention. From political upheavals to military conflicts and the ongoing debates about nuclear programs, the region has been a hotbed of activity that can't be ignored. The political landscape has been transforming at a rapid pace. We've seen changes in leadership, shifts in alliances, and a constant push and pull of power. These changes have created a ripple effect, influencing not just the region, but the entire world. Now, let's take a moment to talk about conflicts. The Middle East has been plagued by wars and skirmishes for decades. Recent years, however, have seen an escalation that is hard to overlook. These conflicts have led to devastating loss, displacement of people, and a humanitarian crisis that has echoed around the globe. And then there's the issue of nuclear programs. Iran's pursuit of nuclear technology has been a contentious issue, sparking debates and causing tension on the international stage. The fact that nuclear weapons have the potential to cause massive destruction adds another layer of concern to this issue. So what does all this mean in the context of biblical prophecies? Some scholars point to passages in the scripture that speak of wars, upheavals, and a time of great turmoil in the end times. They suggest that the events unfolding in Iran and the Middle East could be a fulfillment of these prophecies. Of course, interpretations vary, and it's important to approach these theories with an open mind. Whether these events are indeed fulfillment of prophecies or simply a series of unfortunate incidents is a question that continues to spark debate. In conclusion, the recent developments in Iran and the Middle East are significant not just from a political or humanitarian perspective, but potentially from a prophetic one as well. These events in Iran and the Middle East are indeed intriguing when viewed through the lens of biblical prophecies. But it's not just Iran and the Middle East. Other parts of the world are also experiencing events that align with biblical prophecies. Let's take a look at some of these. Rising natural disasters like floods, earthquakes, and wildfires are becoming increasingly common. The Bible in the book of Luke, chapter 21, speaks of great earthquakes, famines and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Then there are wars and rumors of wars, a phrase directly lifted from Matthew chapter 24. These conflicts aren't isolated to one region, they are happening globally, causing distress and upheaval. And let's not forget the societal changes we're witnessing. The moral compass seems to be shifting, something the Bible warns us about in Timothy chapter 4, where it speaks of people abandoning sound doctrine to follow their own desires. As we can see, the world around us is echoing the words written thousands of years ago. So what does this all mean for us today, you may wonder? Well, let's take a moment to connect the dots. In this grand tapestry of history, recent events in Iran and the Middle East, the rise in natural disasters and wars, they all seem to dance in rhythm with the ancient melodies of biblical prophecy. In the midst of these unfolding narratives, the echoes of prophecy aren't just distant whispers of the past, but rather they resonate in the reality of our present. This isn't about fear, but about understanding that these events could be pieces of a larger puzzle, a testament to the depth and breadth of ancient wisdom. The world is a vast canvas of mystery, and we're all part of this grand exploration, peering through the lens of prophecy to make sense of the reality around us. So let's keep questioning, keep seeking. As we continue to witness the unfolding of world events, we remain observers, questioners, and seekers of truth in a world that is ever-changing and full of surprises.